Good morning, folks. Sorry about all the bird noises, it's quite early in the morning here. I meant to do this video yesterday, but it was my 40th birthday on Saturday, so I was sort of feeling a bit fragile yesterday, shall we say, for various reasons. I spent most of the day catching up on this past weekend's boxing results. First off, I'll talk about Chantelle Cameron beating Katie Taylor in Ireland. It was Katie Taylor's big homecoming, first fight back in Ireland, first professional fight in Ireland in her whole career, and she lost a majority decision. The right person won. I thought Cameron controlled the pace most of the time, working the body. Those uppercuts on the inside were absolutely wicked. She was a little bit too big for Katie Taylor. I mean, I love both girls. I think they're both fantastic fighters. I've been a big fan of both of them. I've followed Taylor since she turned pro, since the Olympics in 2012, just before the Olympics when she was world amateur champion. She's been a great ambassador for women's boxing and boxing in general. She's had a couple of close ones that she could have lost, like the Serrano fight last year, which could have gone either way, and obviously the first Delphine Pursoon fight, which is actually nearly 4 years ago. Look at those fucking birds, noisy bastards. Anyway, yeah, I thought she lost the Pursoon fight, and I actually had her losing the rematch, but the rematch was closer. That was in 2020, so I didn't have an issue with her winning that one. Taylor's problem is she seems to have forgotten to move her head over the past few years, and that was evident in this fight. Again, she was backed up to the ropes quite a lot. She was taking a lot of punishment. Sorry, I'm just going to move in because those bloody birds are driving me nuts. And hang on, got my notes. And yeah, and Cameron was just pretty much having her way with her. I mean, she had a moment. I'm not saying she was dominated at all. Cameron just was bigger. She controlled the pace. She was landing more. I mean, Taylor had a moment. She was firing back with nice clusters of combinations of punches, and it wasn't she wasn't dominated, but she lost quite well. When I saw the first judge had it a draw, I thought, uh-oh, looks like Cameron's getting fucked. It's either going to be a complete draw, or they're going to give it to Katie Taylor. But when it was a majority decision for Cameron, I was pleasantly surprised and pleased because the right person won. Cameron fought the fight of her life. Now with DAZN, the commentary was garbage. I mean, they're not the only ones that are guilty of it. The commentary in boxing these days is absolute garbage. They're so biased at everything Katie Taylor did. The commentary team were shouting and screaming, yeah, at certain points in the fight, and I ended up muting it in the end. I watched it in silence because they were getting on my fucking nerves. I get it. The promotion was built around Katie Taylor's homecoming. I totally understand it. But, you know, you're supposed to be subjective. You're supposed to be reporting on a sporting contest, you know. But anyway, Cameron won. I was very pleased for her. Felt gutted for Taylor because Taylor, you know, she's been a big name in women's boxing. She's helped put women's boxing on the map. So I did feel bad for her. Apparently there will be a rematch, which I'll be interested to see because it was a good fight. It wasn't the greatest fight I've ever seen, but it was a good fight. I wouldn't mind seeing it again. I think Cameron probably has got a number. I think Cameron would beat her. But we'll have to see, won't we? Now, over to Vegas. Las Vegas, Nevada. I'll talk about the title fight that was on the undercard. Junto Nakatani from Japan, obviously, with what I would consider the knockout of the year so far, against Andrew Maloney, the Australian. His brother Jason won a world title last week, and that was a brutal knockout. That was savage, beautiful but savage, you know. I actually thought when Maloney was put down in the 11th, the straight left, he got up and he survived the round. And his corner was saying to him, look, come on, Andrew, you know, you've got to show us something. You're not listening. I thought, just pull him out. He's fucked. You could see he was fucked. He was cut. His nose was bleeding. He wasn't going to win. He's not much of a... He hasn't got a lot of power, really. The Maloney brothers, they're not big, powerful punchers. So, I mean, obviously they have knockouts, but they're not what I would call concussive punchers. So I thought, hey, just pull him out. He's already lost the fight. And he was going to get hurt. And what happened? The following round, he got absolutely fucking taken out with that big looping left hand. Just came out of nowhere. I mean, I actually missed the punch at first. I had to see it in replay. I thought, what the fuck happened there? And he just absolutely smashed the shit out of him with that. It just came over the top, bang! And the way he dropped, you knew he wasn't going to get up. That was for the vacant WBO super flyweight title. I'm gutted for Maloney. I like the Maloney brothers. They've done Australian boxing proud the past few years. I don't know where Maloney goes from this, really. Obviously, his brother Jason he's a world champion. But I don't know where Andrew goes. I mean, that's going to take some coming back from. I don't think his career's over. I mean, he's 32. I mean, that's getting up there for somebody at the lighter weights. That is getting up there in age. But he's a warrior. He'll give anybody. Unfortunately, I think he'll probably end up being a bit of a gatekeeper in boxing in the lower divisions, because he can give anybody problems. He can give anybody a test, and he can take a lot of punishment. But Nakatani was just too good for him, you know. I think there's talk of Nakatani fighting Kosei Tanaka at some point, who was a former WBO flyweight champion. And of course, Nakatani held that belt, and then he's moved up, and obviously he's taken this super flyweight title. I'd like to see that. That would be a good fight. Big fight in Japan. Probably that would probably happen in the new year, because Japan likes to have a big New Year's show, New Year's Eve show. So yeah, I'd like to see that one. That would be a good one. Obviously, the main event, the reason we're all here, Devin Haney successfully defended his undisputed lightweight title against Vasyl Lomachenko, 12-round unanimous decision. A lot of people are very upset about this decision. I've heard the word robbery being thrown around quite a lot, which gets thrown around too much. I mean, there have been plenty of robberies in boxing. The boxing is littered. Boxing history is littered with bad decisions. It's just one thing that never seems to go away. I don't think this was a bad decision. I don't think it was a robbery. Some of those rounds were horrible to score as a fan watching, and obviously if you were a judge. It was all what did you like? Did you like Devin Haney's body work, or did you like Vasyl Lomachenko's little bursts of punches that he was throwing? It's very subjective. Again, it's what you look for. I mean, personally, I will say I had Lomachenko winning 115, 113. But when it was announced that Haney had won, I wasn't angry. I wasn't upset, because it could have got. I said if it was a draw, I wouldn't have complained. If Haney had got it, I wouldn't have complained, and Haney got it. It was just one of those weird fights. I felt very sorry for Lomachenko, because he fucking fought the fight of his life. It was a good fight. Obviously, it wasn't Hagler Hearns. It was never going to be Hagler Hearns. But they were two master technicians. The old veteran, 35-year-old veteran, against a young 24-year-old upstart, if you will. And yeah, great technician, great chess match, very absorbing. You know, I couldn't take my eyes off it, because you didn't know, what's going to happen. But some of those rounds were difficult to score. But I would never say robbery. That's just my opinion. A lot of people are screaming robbery. I've seen a lot of people online getting very upset. I've seen a lot of the pundits getting very, very upset. And I understand, don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of it has been romanticised. Boxing is very romantic, isn't it? Obviously, the big story, I won't get into politics, because that's one thing I don't discuss. But the business that's going on in Ukraine at the moment, and the romantic thing is, it's like Usyk. Everybody loves Usyk. You know, all the tough brave Ukrainian. He's fighting at home, and and his country's under war, but he's defending his world heavyweight titles. I think the same. It was a lot of romantics wanted Vasyl Lomachenko to win because of what's going on in Ukraine. I mean, there's a lot of that sort of thing going on, rightly or wrongly. You know, like the Eurovision Song Contest. If any of you people are sad enough to watch Eurovision, last year's competition was won by Ukraine, when most people thought the UK should have won. I don't really give a fuck. It's not really, but I'm just using that as an example. And it was only because of the war people voted for them. But anyway, forget about that. It's nothing to do with anything. So I do think there was a lot of romantics that wanted Lomachenko to win, to be the big, oh, look at this, isn't he brave? What a representative of his country. I could be wrong. That's how I read it. But he fought the fight of his life. I'd love to see the rematch. And I did have him winning. Like I say, I had him winning 115, 113. But some of those rounds you could have flipped either way. So I wasn't that bothered. However, I did have an issue with David Moretti's scorecard. 116, 112. Okay, I know that's only another round extra. I thought that was a little bit too wide. But then again, some of those rounds were so difficult. Who the hell knows? But I have seen reports that apparently Moretti has scored rounds 10 and 11 to Haney, which were clear Lomachenko rounds. So I think Moretti needs investigating, I think, because there's something not fucking right there. Especially the 10th. Lomachenko, okay, he didn't hurt. I wouldn't say Haney was hurt, but he caught him with a right hook that he did stumble back briefly, and it registered, and then pretty much most of that round Lomachenko was putting it on him a little bit. Okay, he wasn't devastating, he's smashing him up or anything like that. But a lot of the early rounds, Haney was using body, he was landing a lot of work to the body, which for some reason seems to go amiss. And people they seem to forget that. They seem to forget that body shots count. Again, the commentary was diabolical. I watched it on Sky Sports here. We got in the UK we got the ESPN feed, so we got the American commentary, and I thought it was garbage. Again, very biased. They were shouting and screaming about Lomachenko, but if Devin Haney did anything, they kind of ignored it sometimes, and so in the end I ended up muting it. I do that a lot. If the commentary team bugs me, I'll switch it off, and I do think the commentary can lead people at home, and I'm not criticising anybody, but people who don't really know a huge amount about boxing, or have never been involved in boxing, or whatever. They're just casual viewers, and I don't mean that as an insult, but people who don't really follow it but will watch certain things, or people or younger people, or whoever who don't know a lot about boxing, will see that and hear what the commentators are saying and think that Lomachenko's dominating the fucking fight, and it ain't so. It's a bit like with the DAZN stuff. Anybody, if you didn't watch the fight but only heard the commentary, you'd think that Katie Taylor was, dominating Cameron at times, which wasn't true. It didn't happen. So I did turn the commentary off after probably about the 5th or 6th round. I just thought, oh, I'm not listening to them two. They were just getting on my fucking nerves. It was like the Lomachenko fan convention, listening to him. So, but there you go. That was this past weekend's fight. I didn't watch the undercard of the Taylor Cameron fight. I only saw the main event. I will catch up. I've heard the results, so I will catch up and have a look at some point. And of course, next weekend we've got the 3 good fights I'm looking forward to. You've got Michael Conlan challenging Lopez for the IBF featherweight title on the same night. Mauricio Lara is defending his WBA featherweight title against Lee Wood in the rematch from a few months ago. Looking forward to that one. The other one, I will watch it, but the other one I'm not looking forward to is Lawrence Okoli defending his WBO cruiserweight title against Chris Billam-Smith. It's going to be a bore fest. It's going to be a hug fest. It's going to be a snooze fest. So I'm not really looking. I will watch it because I love boxing and I'll give him a chance, but I'm not looking forward to it really. That particular one, the 2 featherweight title fights, I'm really looking forward to, but that one, I'll probably end up falling asleep through it like I did his last fight. So, right, that's enough about me, folks. You take care. I hope you're all right. Take care. See you soon.